nice lotus flowers, right? 好靚嘅蓮花嗬，唔係我影嘅。It's not taken by me. It's taken by a student, Alex Lee. So I told him I needed some lotuses. So he said, please help yourself. So you will be seeing a different lotus flower every evening. For the sake of studying this wonderful sutra. 你睇到蓮花好靚，唔係我影嘅嚇，係杜參影嘅。咁希望每一晚俾一朵唔同嘅蓮花俾大家睇下，為配合呢個經嚇。Okay, so last night we talked about the parable of the medicinal plants. So I wonder if any of you have actually gone home, or you were home. I have actually thought about that and contemplated about the content of the parable. You did? Good. So 我唔知琴晚我哋就係講藥草語嗬，唔知有邊位咧聽完之後有冇翻去諗下思考一下，呢個譬喻我有啲咩感想咧咁。希望你哋有啦嚇，如果冇咧，今晚趕緊要做啦。Okay, so tonight is so anybody who comes on tonight, probably we don't have any new friends, right? But we are using this Dr. Jean Reeves' translation of the Lotus Sutra in English. Okay, so if you want to get a copy or get a e-copy or get a physical copy online. So, Lotus Sutra, Wonderful Dharma book, actually is one of the very prominent, very important actually sutra in the Mahayana tradition for many years. And going through it, you'll find it maybe mind-boggling for the English speaking or people, because it's sort of like, wow, it's so much in there. It looks like it feels like a sort of like a very rich big painting in there, and it is very mind-boggling because if you are not used to the Mahayana tradition, it's actually very difficult to go into it. But as what I said last night, the wise one will actually have faith and confidence and understanding, but the unwise one will just walk away when they hear this, because it's very difficult for them to perceive, for them to really understand. So that is the wonderful the thing about the sutra. And also it could be wonderful to some of you, some of us, because we can easily accept it and then develop it and understand it. But some really cannot comprehend this. I have seen this, and even in the inside the sutra, it says 5,000 people just get up and left when the Buddha was teaching this sutra. So it's very normal. 我哋琴日講咗藥草語啦，咁大家都記得我講嘅《法華經》，琴晚講咧就係話當你係一個智者嘅時候，你就會點樣有信有明有解啦。如果你唔係一個智者嘅時候，你冇呢個智慧去接受《法華經》嘅話咧，你就會點樣會就放棄，唔再去聽，唔再去睇。咁喺經入邊第一喺序品嗰度實在已經講得好清楚當佛陀喺度開始 講法華經嘅時候，再會有5000個大眾啊，包括比丘比丘尼啊，或者有優婆塞優婆夷，即係在家出家嘅起身頂禮完佛陀就離開。點解呢？因為佢哋根本就接受唔到，因為就如琴晚講嘅話，佢哋唔係有智慧嘅人，所以根本佢唔可能明白到接受到法華經入邊講嘅種種。咁實在如果我哋中國喺我哋身為華人呢，中國人呢，咁我哋由大乘佛法嗰度一開始啊，我哋好多時都會聽到法華經，我哋比較容易接受。對西方人嚟講呢個法華經實在係好一種好虛幻一種好童話嘅嘢，因為好似入邊咧冚唪唥都係一幅畫，好大幅油畫咁，入邊好多嘢咁，所以係有時係唔出奇，有啲人係唔接受得到嘅。OK， 咁我哋今日繼續講個法華七喻嘅第四個譬喻。So we continue with the 7 parables, the very famous 7 parables. In the Lotus Sutra, it's really not just 7 parables, but these 7 ones are very famous and actually are very important. And these 7 parables actually are very vividly passing on the messages about the way to Buddhahood. 咁我哋繼續講法華七喻，今晚講第4喻。咁雖然話係7喻，但係實在法華經入邊咧係唔只有7個故事嘅。咁但係呢7個故事咧就係好精彩，同埋呢7個故事咧好生動，同埋呢7個故事咧就係佢係一個精髓啊！話俾我哋聽下，我哋如何成佛就係行成佛之道嚟嘅。咁所以呢個7個譬喻咧就係用故事嚟表達呢個法華經入邊嘅精髓。Okay, so we will look at these 7 parables. So we have done that: the parable of the burning house, the parable of the poor son, 火宅喻、窮子喻，我哋睇咗啦，舊年。So last night we talked about the medicinal plants. 琴日我哋睇咗藥草喻啦。咁我哋今日就睇化城喻。So we look at the parable of the not the fantasy. I would use a conjured up fantasized castle city. 睇化城喻啦。咁我對呢個英文翻譯有少少保留啊，所以我自己用咗第2個英文嘅翻譯。咁仲有依珠喻啦，或者叫頂珠喻，唔係依珠喻啦嚇，或者叫做繫珠喻，係啊，即係聯繫個繫啊，可以嘅叫繫珠喻。The parable of the assurance of the 500 disciples. This assurance, I don't quite agree with that either. The translation, I'll use other word. And then 仲有第14品嘅計珠喻啊，或者叫頂珠喻啊，即係頭頂嗰個頂啊。The parable of safe and easy practices. Actually, the safe and easy practices is really not the name of the parable. The name of the parable is the parable of the jewel on the top of the head. So it's really not the parable of safe and easy practices. The name of the parable should be the parable of the gem, or you can call pearl. Is actually the ju means a gem which is so round in shape, on top of the head, on the inside the hair. Okay, so the 16th is the 依子喻，第16個就係 lifetime of the Tathagata. Actually, this is the parable of the physician, the Buddha as a physician. So that is the 7th parable. So these are the 7 parables. So tonight we are looking at this the parable of the conjured up castle city. This is actually a very long parable. I mean, actually a very long story. but you read when you read it tonight. When you read it tonight on this chapter 7, you'll find it actually most of the chapters, 2/3 of the chapters is actually is talking about this story, the story of the Buddha excellent in great penetrating wisdom. 2/3 actually of the whole chapter is actually talking about him. And it's talking about how people actually saw each land being light up, in being so much light up, and they were wondering what's going on in all the directions. Remember that? When you read about that, it's all the 10 directions, the land in these 10 directions. The people there thought, wow, why is this land just being so light up? It is, our palaces are illuminated as never before. Why is this? So they were curious, and they wanted to find out why. So they traveled from the south, they traveled to the north, from the west they traveled to the east, and from the east they traveled to the west, and so on and so forth in the 10 directions. And they wanted to find out what's the reason behind this illuminating, what's the reason behind all these rays, the sun rays and everything. Why is it shining? And when they actually travel from the land to where the light actually where the light radiating out, they actually saw this Buddha right there, sitting there, the Buddha excellent in great penetrating wisdom, which is actually very. You see why the English version is so long. The Buddha excellent in great penetrating wisdom, and in Chinese is 大通智勝佛. It's only 5 words. So, and even for me, it's difficult to actually read this. So the people traveling from all 10 directions, they arrived, and then they saw him. They saw him. It was him actually radiating out all these wonderful rays and lights, and then eventually remember that he actually went into deep meditation for how long? For 10 kalpas, for time of 10 eons. And when he actually went into this meditation state, remember how many sons he has? 16 sons he has before he became a Buddha. So, and the 16 sons actually started to actually expound the sutra, the Lotus Sutra. And the 16th son, I will tell you who is the 16th one, okay? You know already? Okay. Okay. So that is the whole, actually 2/3 of this whole chapter was talking about 大通智勝佛, the Buddha excellent in great penetrating wisdom. And then the last 1/3 actually dedicated to talk about that parable. 咁呢個化成喻品咧，呢個故事成品嘅化成喻品咧，有2/3嘅內容咧，實在係講大通智勝佛啊。咁大通智勝佛咧，佢未成佛之前，佢有16個喺佢個國入邊，佢有16個王子嗬。咁點解佢有2/3會講佢咧？就係實在係講咩咧？實在因為實在呢個係講緊我哋同呢個佛究竟有咩因緣啊？或者16王子，我哋同16王子有咩因緣？而16王子同呢個佛有啲咩因緣？咁喺十方即係東南西北啊，東南西北、東南西南西北東北上下方十方啊，就佢哋各方嘅菩薩啊，人啊，見到啊，點解嗰度咁光啊，咁亮啊咁？佢哋覺得好出奇啊咁。嗰啲人好多人都覺得，係咪嗰度一定有聖者出世啦，或者係咪有人成佛啊咁？ 咁然後咧，大家咧就去爭相咧點樣啊？去由北方嘅咧就去南方，由東方嘅就去西方，佢想證實究竟點解會咁樣。咁去到咧，佢哋就見到原來大通智勝佛喺度。咁所以就係話俾大家聽，就係大通智勝佛就實在咧就係佢十六個王子咧就係後來講嘅嗰個種種佛啦嚇。咁去到見到大通智勝佛喺度説法。咁後尾咧，大通智勝佛咧就入咗十劫嘅定。咁當大通智勝佛入十劫嘅定之後咧，16王子即係佢16個仔咧，就已經係出咗家啦。咁咧16王子咧就好愛拗呢個大乘嘅佛法，就開始點樣啊？因為大通智勝佛咧同佢哋講咗《妙法蓮華經》。咁所以咧，呢個大通智勝佛嘅16王子比丘咧，亦都開始講點啊？開始講《妙法蓮華經》。咁喺呢度咧，就係實在咧，整個化城喻品咧，講俾我哋聽咧，整個化城喻品講俾我哋聽咧，二乘咧唔係一個究竟法嚟嘅，二乘唔係一個究竟法。咁頭先我講啦，16王子第16個王子咧就係釋迦牟尼佛。喺呢度咧，佢實在講咧，二乘咧整個化城喻品去講二乘呢個法門咧，就係唔係一種究竟嘅法門，唔係一個成佛嘅法門，唔可以成佛嘅。佢話諸比丘啊，若如來自知涅槃時度，眾有清淨，信解堅固，了達空法，深入善定，遍集諸菩薩及聲聞眾啊。為說是經，世間無有二乘而得滅道。你睇下呢句説話，世間無有二乘而得滅道。如果世間有人收到證咗二乘嘅果啊，但係點樣？係去唔到佛道嘅，因為點解？唯一佛乘得滅道義，只係佛道啊，只係修佛乘啊，先至係真正可以點樣啊？可以真正唔會再有輪轉啊！所以二乘都未係究竟啊！咁佢呢度講嘅就話佢再話佢話比丘當知如來方便啊，深入眾生之性，如其自拗小法啊，心着五欲，為是等故說於涅槃，使人若聞則便信受。咁佢話佛就係用一個方便嘅法門，點啊？希望可以眾生啊，即係我哋呢啲愚痴嘅眾生咧，聽聞呢個法嘅時候咧，因為我哋愛拗小法，愛拗呢個二乘法，或者二乘人嘅法，或者人天乘嘅法，我哋點樣啊？心着五欲啊，我哋被五欲所困。所以咧，佛咧就講一個方便嘅法門，希望咧點樣啊？希望佢哋收到小乘啊、二乘嘅涅槃之後，再發大乘嘅心啊！呢個係佛陀嘅悲願啊！嚇，咁佢話眾有清淨啊！你睇到紅色嘅咧，眾有清淨，即係話點啊？而家冇晒枝葉啦，因為嗰5000個比丘尼咧，優婆塞、優婆夷都離開咗啦，所有而家喺度聽法嘅全部都係清淨眾。咁仲有咧，佢話信解堅固啊，係眾生咧對呢個妙法蓮華經所講嘅一乘法咧，係好有堅定嘅信心，了達空法，亦都明白點啊，亦都係有咁嘅智慧，明白呢個空性，即係了達空法，即係話佢有智慧咁解。咁點樣啊？深入禪定，即係話眾生係有一個定力，有一個定力點樣啊？有個定力明白空性，佢有信心，佢有清淨，佢點樣？佢就可以得到如來方便。佛陀講呢個涅槃法，佢可以開始信受接受啦。就係咁嘅因緣咧，先至叫做時機成熟，可以講呢個大乘嘅法門啊。所以先至到我哋度眾生入小乘嘅涅槃啊，先至離咗呢種種嘅煩惱啊，先至開始講大乘嘅呢個道啊。So the second vehicle, he said, is not the ultimate path. So in here, on page 197, it says in the English book, I didn't really, I think I typed it all out. He said, monks, if the Tathagata knows that his time of nirvana has arrived and that the assembly is pure. So bear in mind, this Lotus Sutra was actually taught not very long before the Buddha actually went into Nibbana. Or Nirvana, you want to use the Sanskrit word. So he said the assembly is pure. Pure in what sense? It's pure because all those 5,000 monks and nuns, all those 5,000 householder men, householder women, actually did not have confidence. So after the Buddha set himself and started to expound this Lotus Sutra, these 5,000 people get up and left. So now the Buddha, remember in the introduction, the Buddha said all the branches, all the leaves are cleaned out. There is no more branches, no more dead branches, no more sick branches. These are the assembly who are ready to listen to the exposition of the Lotus Sutra is pure. That means that is what meant by pure, and firm in faith and understanding. So they are ready. They are ready to actually receive because they have this understanding and this faith. And remember, we actually we studied this last chapter in faith and understanding. That is chapter 4. Yesterday we actually read that yesterday. So this faith and understanding. So they deeply understands the emptiness, the sunyata of things. That means everything are actually dependent, originate, arising and passing, and so they enters deeply into meditation. That means all the assembly who are actually there listening to the exposition of the Lotus Sutra, they have a very, very strong samadhi. Strong samadhi. Their meditative state is very deep and strong. Then he will gather together all the Bodhisattvas and Shravakas and preach this sutra to them. He said, when this assembly becomes such as an assembly, then he will gather all of them. In the whole world, there is no second vehicle for attaining extinction. Extinction from samsara, extinction from life and rebirth. And remember, even those who actually attained arahantship, they still their defilements are still not completely extincted, extinguished. So even with the Prayika Buddha, even though that one is not completely extinguished, so only when one reaches the Sammasambuddhahood, then there's total extinction. Then there is really no more coming, no more life and rebirth. So the Buddha said, even the two vehicle, the second vehicle, the Sravaka, the Prajika Buddha's vehicles, they are not the ultimate, because they cannot lead to full extinction. And the only way that you can achieve full extinction is practice the one Buddha vehicle. That means the great vehicle. And so he said, you should know, monks, that with skillful means the Tathagata. The Buddha said, with skillful means I taught the lesser vehicles, the Sravaka, the Prajika Buddha vehicle. Because why? Because he knew sentient beings delight in the lesser vehicles. They are deeply attached to the 5 desires. Why am I laughing? Because Laurie kept nodding her head. She agreed that sentient beings are actually, very, very attached to the lesser teachings, lesser vehicles, and it's very difficult for them to really perceive and really comprehend the great vehicle, and let alone striving forward on that path. So for the sick, that's why the Buddha taught nirvana according to the lesser vehicle, so that when they hear it, they they start to have that faith. And when they have that faith, then he start to teach this, the fantasy, the fantasized castle city. Oh, so difficult to do bilingual. 係用兩種語言去講真係好難，講一種已經夠難，講兩種仲難。It's so difficult even talking in one language, let alone two languages. Okay, come back here. Okay, so 咁嗰個整個嘅說法因緣啊，說法嘅因緣咧就係我哋可以睇得到啦。佢就喺個經文個偈頌入邊講嘅。經文其實入邊講佢話：我在16數曾亦為汝說啊，是故以方便引汝趨佛位，以是本因緣今說法華經，令汝入佛道慎勿懷驚懼。實在呢個呢，就係講俾我哋聽呢乜嘢呢？講俾你聽，我佛陀咧講呢個法華經嘅時候咧，實在咧就係我在16數，即係我呢個我就係講佛陀啊，即係釋迦牟尼佛啦。我在16數，即係我喺16個王子入邊，我排第16，最細嗰個。我在16數啊，曾亦為汝說，我已經曾經同你講過法華經㗎啦。是故以方便，我今時今日咧係以用一個方便緣啊，即係用聲聞緣覺緣啊，去引咩？引語即係你咁解，趨佛位去邁向佛嘅智慧。以是本因緣今說法華經啊，就係因為咁嘅緣分啊，所以我今時今日有機會喺度同大家講法華經，令你哋可以入佛道。所以你哋記住，唔好驚，唔好怕。呢個就係亦都可以咁講啊！你同我今時今日有機會喺度聽法華經，好可能我哋喺佛在世嘅時候，或者喺呢16王子在世嘅時候，唔知邊個因緣，我哋喺嗰度唔知係咪一隻螞蟻啊，或者一條蟲蟲啊，或者一隻雀仔曾經係咁樣。所以今生今世我哋有機會喺度聽到法華經啊！雖然我唔係佛，但係至少即係我有個咁嘅心願啊！將個法華經係帶出嚟同大家去研討啊，去學習啊！咁所以我哋都係要感恩啊！感恩我哋過往生有呢個緣分啊。Okay, so this is the reason to expound the sutra. He said, I was among the 16 and taught you in the past. Therefore, by skillful means, I lead you in the quest for Buddha wisdom. I, that means Gautama the Buddha. I was among the 16, and he was actually the youngest, the 16th son. He said, I have already taught you in the past about this sutra, but only by skillful means I lead you in the quest for Buddha wisdom. At that time, probably we didn't want to strive to actually for Buddha wisdom. Rather, we strive for the lesser vehicle. So that's why he said it here. And he said, because of this connection in the past, I now teach the Dharma Flower Sutra, or the Lotus Sutra, to lead you to enter the Buddha way. Pay attention and have no fear. So you know, you and me, maybe we were long time ago has already been connected with these 16 sons, and especially the Gautama the Buddha. Otherwise, we won't be here studying the Lotus Sutra. Maybe we were then maybe an ant or a bird or whatever. There must be a connection. Otherwise, we won't be here sitting, listening to this sutra. And look at some of you have been coming back. I'm talking about the English speaking people coming back for the 3 years. Nobody forced you to come back, right? You willingly to come back. There must be a connection there. And here, in the Lotus Sutra, is actually tell us the connection to the 16 sons, the connection to the the Buddha excellent in what? Tai Tong Chi Sing Phật. What's his name again? Excellent in illuminating what? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Tai Tong Chi Sing Phật. Okay, so we must have a connection. We must have a seat there. So that's that is the whole reason why this sutra is about. This chapter 7 is about, and actually it tells us a little bit about our connection, our relationship to this Buddha and to these 16 sons from the past. Okay, 所以咧就呢個講經呢個因緣啊，呢個講法華經嘅因緣，同埋講呢個化成喻品呢個因緣啊喺呢度。咁我哋而家開始睇呢個化成喻品。Now we start to look at this simile or metaphor. So the first one is寶藏 the rare treasures. Okay, the first one is the rare treasures. I'm going to break this whole metaphor into many little steps, so that I can actually guide you through. 我會將整個比喻咧係分段嚟講出嚟。咁所以咧就我哋會一路睇啊，一層層去睇呢個比喻。第二個咧就係又遠又險嘅惡路 ，the long and bad road。Okay. 第三咧就係眾多人啊 ，the third one is the large group of people。第四係聰明嘅導師 ，the experienced leader or the experienced teacher or the experienced guide。半途想放棄 ，they wanted to give up。this 眾多人半途想放棄。The large group of people wanted to give up in the middle, in the halfway. 智慧和慈悲嘅導師 a very compassionate and wise leader or teacher or guide. And then there is 有一座化城 a conjured up fantasized castle city. 然後有勸慰 a comforted the group, the teacher, the leader, the guide comforted the group. That's number 8. 第九個就係安忍啦 calm and comfortable. 第10就係化城嘅真相 the truth about this castle city. 第11就係勸喻繼續前行。11 is advise this big group to strive forward diligently. 第12就係未曾解脫not liberated yet. 第13就係開權顯實，就係 skillful means. 第14精進 the 14th is great effort. 第15來到寶所 arrival to the place of treasures. So we are going to look at these in 15 steps. I'm breaking up the story in 15 parts. 咁我就將呢個故事呢，就分咗15個部分去睇。第一個就係 rare treasures. The first one is 第一個係寶藏。The first one is rare treasures. 咁呢個寶藏係講乜嘢？係講成佛之道。What is the 或者成佛，或者到佛地，或者得到佛位。OK， 就係呢個叫 rare treasures。咁呢個叫寶藏。So what is rare treasures? The Buddha way, or you can say it is. Next slide, please. Or you can say the path to Sammasambuddha, or the arrival, really the arrival or attainment of Buddhahood. So that's the rare treasure. But in here, the rare treasure was not the first the first thing that it talked about. But I put it in the first thing because this is the goal. This is the goal of this whole metaphor. Okay, the destination of this whole metaphor, where it reach eventually, is this rare treasure. So I put it right there as to tell us that's the destiny, and every steps is walking towards this destiny. Okay， 咁呢個寶藏呢，實在喺個經嗰度呢，佢係第二定第三段先開始講呢個寶藏，但係我就將佢擺咗去第一。點解呢？我想大家知道呢，呢個就係呢個化成喻品講俾我哋聽嘅。我哋要達到嘅係乜嘢？最尾要去到嘅就係要去到呢個寶藏啊！去到呢個寶藏，所以我就將個寶藏擠咗第一先。OK，then the second one。但係第二呢，就係呢條路呢，原來係好長嘅，好長好遠嘅。呢條路好長好遠嘅嚇，我哋喺經文度睇到㗎啦，唔係喺經文喺偈頌，我今次係用偈頌嘅。佢話譬如險惡道，回絕多毒獸，又復無水草，人所怖畏處。So this is a very long and bad road, or you can call it a long and very dangerous road, which is very steep, very bad, very remote, and teeming with dangerous beasts, with neither water nor grass, and terrifying to people. So that is in here. There was this very steep, bad road, remote and teeming with dangerous beasts, with neither water nor grass, and terrifying to people. 咁實在呢個險道，佢講咩叫險道呢？呢個惡道呢，險惡道呢，就係話我哋所有嘅乜嘢？我哋所有嘅惡業，我哋所有嘅無明，我哋所有嘅愚痴。咁冇水草即係唔可以生㗎啦，係咪？人所怖畏處，個個都驚嘅。So here it says there is a very bad road, remote, and a lot of dangerous beasts. And this bad road, it means dangerous and bad roads. That means the road is filled with all delusions, illusions, and there are a lot of black karma, okay, and frightening, and very frightening, 怖畏啊 frightening, and frightening, or you can call it very fearful. And actually there are we can see that there are different kind of frightening place or different kind of fears. 我哋可以睇到有不同嘅怖畏嗬。There are total 5 kind of fear， 就總共係有5種嘅不同嘅怖畏。第一個叫不活畏。The first fear is the fear of losing the means to livelihood。不活畏咧，即係話咩意思咧？話咧，我哋冇求生之計，所以咧，我哋咧想佈施嘅時候，我哋驚咧。哎呀！我佈施咗咯，譬如我捐錢啊，我捐咗我乜？我聽日唔夠錢買雪糕食啊咁，呢叫不活畏，或者買米啊咁啊，呢個叫不活畏。So this is for example when we actually donate or build up this generosity of wanting to support, and we are afraid that if I donate my money out, then tomorrow I won't have enough money to make ends meet. So that is the fear. So in this path, there is such fear existing on this path, but would way a fear of losing the means to livelihood. But for Bodhisattva, they don't have that fear. But for us, we have that fear. 係咪？菩薩唔會有呢個不活畏嘅，菩薩唔驚呢樣嘢嘅。好啦，第二種畏呢，第二種畏叫惡名畏。 the second fear or second frightening things on this path is the fear of defamation。好啦，惡名咧即係話人哋點樣？人哋唱衰我啦，或者誣蔑我啦，或者點樣啊？或者種種講我種種啲唔好嘢啦。咁咧就會點樣？會擔心啦，哎呀，咁佢咁講啊，咁我唔做啦。我唔去做啦，我又唔同佢點樣啊？我又唔同佢有咩關係啦咁。So this fear of defamation means people talking about you being so bad and or whatever, or you are afraid that people will talk bad about you, so you don't want to walk on that path anymore. So one kind of fear on this path, okay? So when for Bodhisattva, for the young Bodhisattva, of course they will be scared. They will be scared of this, and they would give up. But for very compassionate and wise Bodhisattva, they don't care. They don't mind, because why? They see through its emptiness, its sunnata, right? 當一啲我哋講初學嘅菩薩咧，一聽到呢啲聽到人哋或者毀謗我哋啊，或者講我哋唔好啊，或者等等嘅時候，我哋會覺得哎呀，唔好啦，我都唔好修菩薩，我唔好修菩薩行啦，好難做嘅菩薩都唔好搞啦咁。咁實在所以呢個咧就係喺成佛之道入邊咧，其中一個恐懼啊，一個部位即係恐懼咁解啊。Okay, then the third one, the fear of losing this life, 死慧。第三個就係死慧。我哋菩薩發心啊，發心成菩薩啊。行菩薩道啊，成佛道啊，唔會怕死噶。佛陀都會點樣啊？佢自己跳落去餵餓虎啦，係咪啊？知道嗰個老虎媽媽侮辱俾啲老虎仔，佢都跳落去餵餓虎啊！佢唔驚死啊！但係如果我哋唔係發大心，唔係發呢個菩提心嘅話，唔係發呢個成佛之心嘅話，我哋就會點啊？我哋就會怕死啦！我哋未死到臨頭，我哋已經驚死啦！Okay, so the fear of losing this life, for a Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva won't be afraid of losing the life. Remember, the Buddha once lifetime, he actually threw himself into the cave to actually feed the tigress. So that the tigers can look after the little litter of tigers. So the Bodhisattva won't have that fear, but we do have that fear. That's why we would chicken out. We don't want to walk on that path. That's why in the sutra you have actually read that about this path is very long and difficult, right? Long and difficult. Okay, so 第五位咧就係叫惡道位，第四位叫惡道位。The fourth one is the fear of rebirth in lower realms. 當我哋學法嘅時候咧，我哋成日有啲人咧就會驚啊！哎呀，我唔好咁做啊！我咁做啊！哎呀，我唔知第時死咗咧就去邊度啦？去地獄啦，去做惡鬼啦，去做畜生啦。好怕因果呢樣嘢啊！咁咧就成日裹足不前啊，樣嘢都裹足不前。咁我識得有個老菩薩咧，咁佢年紀大啦嘛，佢居士嚟㗎。咁我哋有到時咧，我哋身為師傅咧，我哋都照顧下佢啊，不飯俾佢啊。佢成日都話：哎呀，唔得㗎，師傅啊，唔得㗎，我會落地獄㗎，我呢個因果我孭唔起㗎，你要咁招呼我，你要照顧我。 咧，呢個就係惡道位。佢驚自己死咗落三惡道啊，因為師父去照顧佢啊，呢個就係惡道位。咁我嗰陣時，我記得我都有惡道位，我曾經有過惡道位啊。如果你有聽過我講法句經，我曾經同個師父講啊，20幾年前嚟到加拿大嗰陣時啊，師父話你當家咧，咁啊叫我做當家喎。咁我話唔好啊，師父，我唔好做當家啦，我做跑腿好啦。我話當家咧如果做錯嘢咧，落好大因果嘅。咁落因我又會點啊？我死啦！我好快就落地獄噶咁啊！師父話唔使驚咧，落咗去快脆翻上嚟咧，落一落去就快脆翻上嚟咧。咁我從嗰陣時開始咧，我就唔驚呢個惡道位啦，因為師父話快脆落咗去，快脆翻上嚟啊。咁我就從此就唔再驚啦，咁就好勇猛直前啊嚇咁啊，勇猛往前，繼續好好去為寶林服務。So 呢個惡道位就係驚自己咧死咗之後啊，即係喺修行過程中咧，驚自己咧做咗啲乜嘢咧，會死後咧會落惡道輪迴嚇。咁喺個善法不善法入邊咧，就生起個好大嘅分別心，好執着。呢個就係叫我哋要明白啦嚇。So the fear of rebirth in lower realms is people are afraid when during the course of practice, they have done something really unwholesome, and they are so scared of being reborn in the lower realm, and so they are very hesitant to do anything. So because they are afraid that after this lifetime they will be reborn in the lower realms, and I remember I had this fear. I once had that fear. I remember 25 years ago when I first came here, and my sifu said, "Okay, you will be the supervisory nun, so looking after everything." I said, "Sifu, can I just be a road runner, serving the sangha, not being in such a high position?" And he just looked at me, and I said, being a supervisory nun, if I've done anything wrong, then my consequences of being my consequences, I will have to bear very heavy consequences. If it is really unwholesome, then I will be reborn in lower realm, in the hell's realm, and everything. And you know what Sifu said to me? He said, "That's okay. No problem. You go down there fast, and you come up fast." You go down fast, you come up fast. And after he told me that, then I had no more of that fear anymore. Because I needed to serve, and sometimes I do make mistakes, and if I'm always like afraid of making mistakes, then I will never be able to improve myself, and never be able to know my shortcomings, right? So this is fear of rebirth in lower realms, and I remember there is a very old disciple of mine. She's in her late 80s and 90s. Late 80s, and so as a monastic, even though as a monastic we look after her, sometimes we get the rice for her, we get the soup for her and everything, and she always say, "Oh no, I'm sinful, it's no good, no, Sifu, don't do this, I'll be reborn in lower realm and everything." She has a lot of this octo fear of rebirth in lower realms. So don't be afraid, but of course you're not intentionally making mistakes, but unintentionally we make mistakes because we are not perfected, right? So it's very normal that we make mistakes. Okay, then the fifth one, 第五個叫大眾威德位啊。The fear of the presence of other renowned and respected elders and peers. 呢個大眾威德位咧，即係嗱，譬如好似我而家咁啦嚇，譬如我坐喺度講經啦嚇，咁 你哋個個坐喺度就係，大部分都係我徒弟啦，我就覺得你哋都冇乜威脅性啦，係咪？咁但係如果你坐喺下邊嘅，譬如或者一啲高僧大德坐喺度啊，或者有啲大居士坐喺度聽我講嘅時候，我可能咧就會點啊？我會心怯啦。哎呀死啦！唔知我講得掂唔掂啦？佢哋會唔會覺得我講得唔好啦？或者諸如此類話，或者我會點啊？會好甩咳啦，甩咳啦。咁啊成日心怯怯啦。點解佢哋好似冇乜表情咁嘅？係咪我講到佢哋瞌晒眼瞓啊？或者我係咪講錯咗？或者我講得好悶啊？諸如此類嘅大眾威德，即係坐喺下邊嘅大眾咧，佢哋個威望啊，同埋個德望咧嚇到我啦嚇！咁呢個叫大眾威德位啊！咁而家你哋嚇唔到我。因為你哋喺個電視機度嚇唔到我，OK？ 如果你喺我前邊，你可能都嚇到我嘅。你喺個電視機度嚇唔到我，OK？ 好 ，so this one, the fear of the presence of other renowned and respected elders, fear and peers. What does it mean is now I'm sitting up here. I'm sitting up here, talking about the Lotus Sutra, teaching about the Lotus Sutra, right? In here, that means if of course, now you are also, most of them are all of my students, and I don't have any fear of you, especially you are on the TV. So I'm not afraid of you. But if sitting there among the congregation, the assembly is some really, really renowned monks and nuns, or some really renowned householder women or men, and very, very very scholarly and very fluent, and then they will put a pressure on me that they don't intentionally put a pressure on me. I put a pressure on myself. I start to have this fear, have this scares. Oh wow, they are looking at me like this. Then I would think, oh, maybe I'm teaching wrongly. And then sometimes they look like this. Oh, it's too dull. That's why they fall asleep. Or whatever, because of their presence, because they are so renowned, because they have so virtuous and so well respected. So I sitting here would have this fear. Now I don't, because you are all in the TV, a little square in the TV, so you did not scare me off. so I'm not afraid. Okay, so these are the five different kind of fears that on this long and difficult path that one may actually encounter. 所以喺呢個咁長嘅險路上邊咧，可能咧佢哋咧就會點啊？會遇到呢啲種種嘅怖畏啦。Then it says there is a large group of people. A large group of people chosen to walk on this very long and difficult path. 好啦，有一個無數千萬眾欲過此險道，其路甚曠遠，經500由旬。So large group of people, an innumerable multitude of tens of millions of people wanted to go over this steep road, a road reaching far into the distance, stretching over 500 leagues. 無數千萬眾其路甚曠遠，曠遠即係話佢可以喺入邊經文入邊咧，長文入邊咧，佢亦都用4個字去代表去形容曠遠啫。佢話曠絕無人，即係又長又遠，一路好耐都見唔到有人啊！曠絕無人。咁咧呢度呢個曠遠實在係解乜嘢咧？解有好多不善嘅種子啊！我哋好多不善嘅種子，不善嘅業不善嘅念啊等等。喺當我哋做呢啲不善嘅時候，我哋就完全係冇智慧嘅。咁呢啲因為我哋冇智慧，所以我哋就唔可以同呢個清淨心咧聯繫上啦，就唔可以同呢個清淨嘅佛性聯繫上嘅。咁所以亦都呢個咧就所以變咗呢條路咧仲更加艱難啦。So it says this road is very steep, Very steep, that means it's actually very vast and difficult, and also with no people in sight. And what does it mean by no people in sight and very, very, very steep and far? It means that there are a lot of unwholesome deeds and intentions that we actually have been continuously cultivating. And because when we were behaving in such a way, then we are actually it's not wise. And when we are not wise, how can we be connected with all the pure people and pure energy or pure whatever around us? We can't. There's no way. So, and it stretches for over 500 leagues. Then and this 500 leagues, that means it stretches over all our life, this lifetime, or expand to many, many future lifetimes. Okay. 咁呢個500由旬咧，就可以講啊，就係好長嘅時間啊！不單止係呢一生啊，可能仲好多生啊！就係佢哋形容呢啲千萬眾嘅人啊，係欲過此險道啊，其路甚曠遠，經500由旬。經500由旬即係經過好多好長嘅時間。So they have actually gone through a long time, many lifetime, walking on this path. 咁實在你可以咁睇下，咁樣睇咧就係好似我哋呢一生咁啫。好似我哋呢一生，譬如我哋呢一生而家我哋60幾70歲啦嚇。呢60幾70歲啊，過往嗰幾廿年，咁我哋嗰幾廿年做咗啲乜嘢咧？頭嗰10年就蒙查查嘅，咁跟住嗰10幾年咧就讀書嘅，然後跟住嗰10幾20年咧就點樣啊？你哋就係結婚生仔。做事業，咁我就好彩啦嚇，30幾歲就出家，咁出咗家，咁又係點樣啊？有時出咗家頭嗰10年就渾渾噩噩嘅，蒙查查嘅，見到車都唔知嗰架車係自己嘅。好啦，過咗10年啦，即係開始清醒啲咁多，先至開始真係識得咩叫，開始知道真係咩叫。開始修行，真係修改自己嘅行為，真係先開始。咁你諗下，我哋一生咁短，先至做到咁少嘢。如果我哋要去成佛嘅話，我哋要經過幾長嘅路咧？咁真係唔簡單啊！嚇，呢條路唔簡單。So even though it says 500 leagues, that means very long, right? But we just look at our own life this lifetime. For me, okay, I'm 65. Okay, for the first 10 years, I sort of don't know what's going on the first 10 years of life, right? I'm 10 years, a child, and then for the next 10, 15 years, okay, busy studying and then graduating and then trying to find a job, and for you householder is. You find a girlfriend, you find a boyfriend, and then you get married, you get a career, you start a family, and that's you. For me, and then I'm very fortunate. I renounced when I was 35, 36, and for the first 10 years after renunciation, I was sort of like in the cloud, inside a cloud. I didn't know what's going on. I was like really. Very misty, very hazy, very foggy. And for the last 15, 13, 15, 18 years, starting to have a little bit of clarity, and really know what his practice meant, what does practice means. And this is my lifetime already, almost, right? I mean, 2/3 of my life is gone almost, and I'm not there yet. I'm still far away, and let alone reaching to the goal of Buddhahood. And you can see it's actually a very, very long path. It's really not an easy path at all. Even living this life up until now is really not easy. Let alone you want to pursue on a path towards the total liberation, right? 啊！我哋淨係呢一生嘅都唔容易過啊！即係100幾廿年都唔容易過，咁何況我哋要點樣啊？我哋要成佛嘅咧，係咪啊？咁你話我哋幾多百劫咧？要成佛仲更加難啊！真係唔容易㗎嚇。OK，so keep working， 俾心機，俾心機，加油，加油。Okay, then because of this large group of people, they're wandering off, right? Going afar through this road. Then there is this wonderful, sorry, wrong animation. Wonderful experience leader. 有一個好聰明嘅導師，嗬，是有一導師強識有智慧，明了心決定在險濟眾難啊！有一個導師啊，有一個好聰明啊，好有智慧嘅導師啊，明了啊個心啊，即係已經係解決咗嘅，即係已經係了咗呢個生死㗎啦。心決定啊，好清晰好定嘅，在險濟眾難，喺呢班人最危險嘅時候啊，佢幫咗佢哋，在險濟眾難啊。There was a leader or a teacher, a guide who was knowledgeable and wise and clear-headed and determined, one who could save people in danger from many troubles. So there was this leader or this teacher. He was so wise and he was so knowledgeable. That knowledge is not the knowledge that we actually read from the sutra. That knowledge is not the mundane knowledge. Remember, it's the super mundane knowledge. Okay, about the Dharma, and wise. And it's not like we are so dumb and so stupid. So and clear-headed, not like us, very foggy and misty, and so determined, not like us, so hesitant, right? And we could easily give up. No, he won't. And one who could save people when they are in danger. Okay, so there was this experienced teacher. What did he do? He led them. 呢個聰明嘅導師就帶呢班人啦，帶呢班人去啦。So this experienced leader lead this group of people. But 但係眾人皆疲倦，而白導師言啊，我等今頓佛，於此欲退還。嗰啲人話唔好啦，好辛苦啊，500由旬喎，好攰啊，我唔去啦。頭嗰300由旬呢，就係、你可以講呢，就係斷啲見惑啊，思惑啊咁。後邊個200由旬呢，講啲斷啲美細惑啦、塵惑啊。佢話眾人皆疲倦，而白導師言：我等今頓佛，於此欲退還。我唔想再去啦，我好攰啦，我唔去啦，我想返去啦咁。So this group of people wanting to give up, the people became so tired and discouraged because it's such a long path, 500 leagues. The first 300 leagues, they actually were those people who can abandon their delusions in their views. And then the last 200 leagues are those people who can actually eradicate all the little, very minute delusions. So the people became so tired and discouraged and said to the guide, I don't want to go. We are so exhausted. We wanted to turn back. I don't want to go. When I read this, I thought about Master Xuan Zhuang. 我讀呢幾句偈嘅時候，我記起玄奘大師。玄奘大師佢去印度取經嘅時候，佢經過戈壁沙漠嘅時候，4野無人，只見到嘅全部都係死屍啊！駱駝嘅死屍、馬嘅死屍、人嘅死屍，4野無人，全部一望無邊嘅沙漠，戈壁沙漠好大好大， 佢喺嗰陣時，佢發咗個願啊，佢話佢寧向東方多走一步，寧向東方多走一步而死，都不向西方回西方一步而生啊！你可以睇到玄奘大師嗰個心力啊，係點幾強唔會話欲退還啊。So when I was reading this, I thought just now when I was reading this, I remember about Master Xuanzang. You remember him, the one who walked to India to take all the sutras back to China. And when he was at the Gobi Desert, and it was so vast, right? So vast, and you cannot see the boundary. You cannot see any border. So vast, and all he saw was dead bodies of camels, dead bodies of horses, dead bodies of people, and skeletons here and there, and no water, no food, nothing. And he said to himself, I'd rather take a step towards the east, dying, than going back to the west, living. That kind of determination. Where is our determination? 我哋個信力，我哋個堅定力喺邊度啊？我哋冇㗎，我哋冇呢啲堅定力啊，冇呢啲信力啊，我哋唔夠嘅。We don't have enough. This kind of determination. We don't have enough, really. We are lacking so much. So that's why we should be always grateful to our past teachers. 我哋個呢個堅定力啊，我哋信力咁缺乏啊，所以我哋實在應該要點樣啊？我哋應該要時常懷住一個感恩啊，感恩我哋所有嘅過往嘅祖師大德啊！如果唔係嘅話，我哋今時今日根本係冇機會聽得到聞法㗎啊！我仲有16張幻燈票嘅。Okay. How many do I have? 16. Okay. Now how many slides? 16. Let's see. 15. Okay. 15 points. All right. So go on one more. Okay. 第6個智慧同慈悲嘅導師 ，a compassionate and wise leader。導師作是念，此輩甚可憫。如何欲退還而失大珍寶 ？The teacher said, the teacher thought to himself, these people are to be so pitied. How can they want to turn back and give up such great rare treasures ahead? 呢個導師咧就覺得，唉，好可惜啊！嚟到咁遠啦，佢哋都要放棄。咁佢哋咁樣點樣再去攞呢個大珍寶咧？攞唔到㗎喎，好可惜喎，半途而廢。我哋係咪好多時都係半途而廢啊？做嘢係咪啊？我哋好多時都係啊！我記得咧，發明燈泡嗰個叫做乜嘢？愛迪生啊嚇，愛迪生發明燈泡啊！佢唔知整爛咗幾多千萬個燈泡，佢先至發明到個燈泡。佢話：如果我唔繼續去努力嘅話，佢話我已經失敗咗好多次啊！如果我唔係繼續努力嘅話，我根本就唔會今次會成功。我哋好多時呢個失敗呢，就係我哋好多失敗呢，就係我哋去到咁上下啦，唉算啦，我放棄啦。原來唔知我哋行多一步就成功噶啦，但係我哋唔知啊！我哋唔知下一步我哋會唔會成功，我哋冇呢個堅定嘅信力啊！我哋就放棄。 就等於呢班人咁。你睇下我哋啊，你睇下我哋幾容易放棄啊！好似去年香港咁多事情，我好多學生咧都點樣啊？覺得自己咧好悲觀啊，同埋咧冇心機啊，讀經又冇心機，打坐又冇心機啊！你睇下。就係咁樣已經放棄咗啦。咁何況你如果喺沙漠上邊遇到係咪咧死馬死牛，咪冇牛嘅死馬死駱駝死人嚇，冚唪唥都骷髏骨頭，冚唪唥一路都一望無際嘅沙，好似玄奘大師咁。你話我哋仲會行咩？我哋唔會行嘅。所以佛陀就見到我哋話，我哋真係好可悲嘅。呢啲人真係要好憐憫佢哋啊，可憫啊，即係。要憐憫佢哋點啊？如何欲退還而失大珍寶？點解佢哋喺呢個時候要放棄啦？要放棄而失去點啊？而失去尋求呢個大珍寶嘅一個機會我哋要時常利用呢兩句4句偈去提醒我哋自己嘅，我哋唔好咁容易放棄啊！So the teacher thought, these people are to be pitied. How can they want to turn back and give up such great and rare treasures ahead? So easy to give up, isn't it? In the midst of difficulties, it's easy to walk away, to avoid, to give up, than facing it. So the one who actually invented the light bulbs, Edison, right? So I remember I read, but I forgot how many light bulbs he has burned in order to be successful to actually make light bulb. And he said, if I have given up, I would never be able to achieve to actually make this real, a light bulb. And so many times that we actually give up. Just one step more, we will be successful, but we give up the step before that. One step more, then we will be okay, but we give up. So we are no different than these people. So actually the Buddha actually directly talking to us. We give up so easily. And I remember last year in Hong Kong, I have so many students telling me that because they were worried about the situation there, and then they were some of them were angry and some of them were depressed, and they gave up their practice. They could not meditate. They couldn't do anything. They were so distracted by all the turmoils happening around them. And they forgot. At that time, you even have to work harder in the midst of turmoils, because any time you could lose that jewel. You can lose that rare treasure. Okay? So I think I'll stop tonight. This is a very long metaphor. 我諗我今晚停喺呢度啦，因為呢個係一個好長嘅故事嚟嘅。我唔好對唔住啊！如果要一節講，我起碼要講到10點所以一定要分2節啦。So I need to continue. I probably have to go all the way until 10 o'clock, which is a little bit too much. For some of you, you have to go to work, and for me, talking too much for 5 hours. So 我哋呢個化成喻品呢個故事，我哋分2節講。Okay? So we will split this story into 2. So you remember this 智慧and 慈悲的老師嚇，記住呢個智慧and 慈悲的老師。So we will remember this compassionate and wise leader. What will he do? What will he do? We will look at it tomorrow. 好，我哋聽日繼續睇呢個智慧同慈悲嘅老師，佢跟住落嚟會做乜嘢嚇？我哋聽日睇下。我哋回向啊！ we dedicate our merits. 今晚讀咗㗎啦。It was in the chapter tonight. Okay. 願以此功德普及於一切我等與眾生，皆共成佛道。May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the living beings together will attain the Buddha way. Okay. Thank you, and see you tomorrow. 今晚返去聽日有時間可以再睇下化成語品啊，咁你聽日聽呢就會仲更加入心啦。Okay. So you can read the chapter again tonight or tomorrow. Then tomorrow when you listen to the story, then you will actually enjoy it more.